Hey folks, this is Steve Alcorn with you here once again. Today I'm going to do a sales update video. It's probably going to be a little long because I sold a lot of things. This goes from November 2nd to November 21st, which is today, 2017. Just going to get right into it. You'll stop seeing me, which is probably a good thing. And we're going to switch to a screen share here, and I'll do all my videos or all my sales. So we're going to hit share. Okay. Hey, that worked pretty good. The first item I sold this month, not first item, for some reason when I opened the tabs, it screwed them all up. So I wish I could get that a little bigger for you. But anyway, it's the Thomas the Tank Engine peel and stick wallpaper border. I have 4 of these. I sold 1. I always put my quantities as 1 less than I have just in case I screw up or something. But so my quantity was at 3. I've sold 1, and hope I sell a few more of those. So that was the first one, $11.99. I got a little screwed on this because the first one I picked up said 89 cents, so I figured they were all 89 cents, and then some of them were $2.89, so I didn't make quite as much money on them. One was 89 cents, the rest were $2.89, so no big deal, though. I still sold it for $12 and fast and free shipping. So that one went out the door. That was just this week, I believe, or last week. Buyer ID. I try not to do that. This one I had for a while. It's Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the Wii. I do mostly good till canceled listings. This one was up for a couple of months. I got it in with I got a Wii, and I think there was 30 some games in there, and I paid $20 for all of it. Made my money back. I still have the Wii. My son uses it, but the games I sold, I've probably made $300 or $400 just off that lot because there were some good games in there. This is one of the lesser games, but sold it for $9.99 shipped. This is just an American League Baseball. Now, if you know anything about baseball, they don't make separate American and National League balls anymore. So this ball was made prior to that. This one came from Cleveland. I got it from a guy who actually worked at the stadium. He was a janitor, and he got it from one of the executives. He had a whole bunch of that kind of stuff, but he wasn't selling a lot of it. But somebody gave me $20 for this ball shipped. I went to Columbus, I believe. Listening to Garage Flips, Lonnie, and others, I started picking up Bibles. This is a 1950 Holy Bible, Catholic Press. It had illustrations. I mean, it was really nice. It was not used. Some of the illustrations. It was not used, so it could still be used. I shipped that one out. Got almost $30 for that Bible. It was on sale. This is a Disney Cruise Line's children's serving plate. It was 12 inches. It did have some issues. It wasn't perfect, but these, I couldn't find another one on the internet, but you can see there's some scuffs and scratches. I've already gotten feedback on this. They loved it. Sold it for $23.90. I think I actually took an offer of $20 on this one, but I did charge shipping, so it came to $26.50 shipped. It's a melamine, so it's like a plastic, and I think these are only available on the cruise ship itself, and it was probably taken without being paid for. But you can call it Hidden Mickey because anything that has Mickey in it but it's not actually Mickey can be a Hidden Mickey. So that's a good keyword to use for things like that, like the bears with the Mickey on the foot that looks like the paw. That's a Hidden Mickey. Kermit the Frog. I got this in a bunch of puppets. I have all the other puppets listed as a lot. I separated this one out because he was worth more. I got $34.97. He's not very big. As you can see, he's pretty small, but he's from the 70s, 1978. And somebody paid me $34.97 for this guy. He wasn't perfect. He had some issues. You can see on his nose there. He had a little stain, but anything that says Jim Henson on it usually does better, I think. So, yeah, sold that one for $34.97. Anything that's an odd price like that was probably on a sale. This was one of my best sales, not my best, but one of my best. I picked this up at a At the same time I picked up that Kermit, it was all from a Habitat for Humanity restore. This, I had it listed at 150 at one time. I put it on a 20% off sale for 119. I took a best offer of 75. This was a Panasonic KX-T1423. It's an answering machine. It does a whole bunch of things. It's old, but it was still new in the box. The box had been open, but you can see the cassette tapes. There's an incoming cassette and an outgoing cassette. Everything was still sealed. Sold that for $75. Buyer was very, very happy when he got it. This is a FAO Schwarz Whatnot Workshop Muppet. You just basically build your own Muppet. I took a best offer of 50 on this guy. I paid $6 at the Salvation Army for him. Basically, all these things can go on the face, and he's got clown hair and an old man hair and a mustache and all sorts of things. So what I did in the staging is with different configurations. And then I showed the backside and the tags. This was a Toys R Us FAO Schwarz collaboration. They can get some good money. Just the body alone, you can get $30 or so for. I probably undersold, but I was happy with it. Just a Ralph Lauren polo custom fit, but it had some nice graphics on it. It's not an older shirt. It's not a vintage. It has the newer label in it. It was a 2X, but on the backside, it says New York RL Cycling Team. I took $30 for this shirt. And I paid, usually short sleeve shirts at the Goodwill are $3.89, so that's probably what I paid for it. This guy I had for a long time, didn't want to list it because he was big, but I did, and he sold to Canada. It's a 24-inch Wolverine plush stuffed animal. He's 2011. Put large in there so people would know. It's Marvel Heroes, and you can see on the tag 2011. When I got him, this right here was loose, so my wife sewed it back together, and he was in good condition. I've gotten feedback on this guy already, and they were happy. So another one I had for a long time, I did have listed for a long time. I took a $30 offer, I believe, on this one. He is an Angry Birds, and you press him and he makes some noise. You can find this guy a lot, but he usually doesn't have this box with him, so it was a little bit of a selling point, but I had him for a very long time, and it took a while to sell. You can see it's my old background there. Probably had him for 4 months. This shirt I picked up and sold within a week. I could have had it sold within a day, and now this is why you don't just dismiss lowball offers. The first offer I got on this shirt was $8. The person really liked the shirt, but they didn't have a lot of money. So I countered with like 32 or something, because when it's a lowball, I counter high. They came back with 15. I came back with 30. They came back with 20, and I declined. About a couple days later, they came back with 22, and I thought to myself, you know, I think I paid a dollar for this shirt. I didn't pay much for this shirt at all. I just liked it, so I picked it up. So they came back with a $22 offer, and I accepted it, and I've gotten some glowing feedback. So lowballers, people without a lot of money at that time, when they get the money, they'll come back. Or sometimes they're just asses, sure. Or they're just people fishing for a cheaper price and see how low you'll go. But I still made a sale on a lowball offer that I got raised up. Now, I could have got the whole $34.96 out of this shirt if I would have held on to it, but I made a buyer happy and I made a profit. So I'm good to go with that. This is just Past the Pigs. This is a good one to find. The box was pretty rough. You can see there was tape on it. You know how the Goodwill tapes everything. I did pick it up at a Goodwill for 89 cents, probably 89 or 49 cents is usually what this kind of thing goes for. Sold this for $16.97. I have another two more copies of this game to list. They're really super lightweight. It's a very popular game. However, the Pigs Land is how they score you. So and it's a very popular game, and people really like it. So if you can find it, you get a quick $10, $15 profit out of it sometimes. Donkey Kong Player's Choice Edition. The only difference between the Player's Choice Edition and the regular edition is basically the label. You can see it says Player's Choice right there above the Nintendo seal. This was a later release. This wasn't the first release of the game. So as you can see, it's a million sellers. So once it got to a million sales, they gave it the Player's Choice logo. It didn't command any extra money, and it actually took longer to sell than the original because I had both. I got them in a lot really super cheap. So sold for $22.46 on sale. I probably had 50 cents into that game. Okay. Dennis Rodman's stuff is hot. I don't know why, but it is. I listed this at $100. I took a best offer of $50. I got it for $2.89 at the Goodwill. This is the front of the shirt. I like the back of the shirt better, so I showed that. I actually got two of these. They had two at the Goodwill. So I actually had two of them. First one I sold for $45. I waited a while to list this one. And once I did, it actually, hey, I can do things over there. Once I did, it actually sold for a little bit more than the first one. So I got $50 out of this shirt that I paid $2.89 for. So I spent a total of like $6 at the Goodwill that day and made almost $100. So you can't complain about that stuff ever. Dale Earnhardt, just a Dale Earnhardt 1998 Daytona 500 champion. I got the full $24.95 for that one. Paid $1 at a yard sale for this. It was in phenomenal condition though. You've heard about Caboodles. This one was the 3-tier, and I think I was the only one on the internet with this little case that went inside of it. It's very hard to find that one. It was a purple and pink version. When I describe colors, I don't do shades. I just the most basic form of that color. So pink and purple. That's it. And anyway, so it took about a month and a half to 2 months to sell, but I did get the full asking price. No, actually, I think I took a $30 offer on it, plus $10 shipping, and it cost me right around that. It didn't go that far. Just $25,000 Pyramid. This is a good game to find. Mine had some condition issues on the card back here. Let's see if I can show that. You can see it's creased, but it sold for $26.96 plus shipping. So somebody, hopefully, I haven't heard anything back. It was sold, let's see, what day was this sold on? Does it tell me? It should. Saturday, November 20. No, that's not when I sold it. Anyway. Game Boy Color, I paid $1 for this with the games. I had several games with it, but this is the one I sold with it. It didn't work. But I happen to have another one that I paid $1 for. So I took the guts out of the one, put them in this one because this one is in way better condition. Sold it for $30 shipped. So if you buy the tools on the internet, they're super cheap. There's a tri-wing screwdriver there, and there's two different sizes of screws, one for the games and one for the actual systems. And they're like, just look up Nintendo screwdrivers or Nintendo game bits or something like that on eBay, and you'll find them. They're super cheap, and then you can take these things apart. Go to YouTube, watch a video on how to take it apart and put it back together, and you can make more money. I mean, I paid $1 for this, sold it for $30. So if I'd have had a better game, I could have probably got more. But this one was better than the other one, so I took this body. It had the battery cover. Everything was clean. The first one that I had some issues. They both were. I got them both to work, but I put the better interior and the better shell and sold it. This is a funny story. These are transcriber machines. This is the cassette transcriber, but I put the wrong pictures in because I listed them both at the same time, and somehow I doubled the pictures and got the pictures of this one and the other one were the same. So I sold this to a guy who actually fixes these things and resells them for a lot more than I paid for them. This worked perfectly. There was nothing wrong with it. And he messaged me, said, "Hey, you sent me the wrong one." And then him and I had the conversation, and he says, "Well, I seen just the picture. I didn't pay attention to the model number. He knows all about these things." And he was happy to keep it for the price he paid. So he did not request a return. But as a gesture of good faith, I said, "Hey, if you change your mind, go ahead and I'll send you a return label and you can send this back to me." But he actually left me positive feedback. So he did get a unit that he can use, and just wasn't the one he thought he was going to get. So it happens from time to time. Just be careful when you're taking your pictures. I had pictures of both units, but somehow I duplicated the pictures from one unit to the other. But I sold this for $50 shipped, or not shipped, yeah, $60 shipped. So he still got a good deal on it because he turns around and sells these for a lot more. So this is just some discs. These actually went just over the state line from me. The guy was super happy with them. I took a $30 offer. I've had these for a very, very long time. Took a $30 offer. They were all the Imation neon ones, but the case wasn't full, so I put 4 or 5 black ones in there to fill it out, and I did say that I did that. So I did say that I put 4 or 5 black ones in there to fill it out. Guy was very happy, left me positive feedback. Pretty cool shirt. Sold for full price. I've already gotten feedback on this one as well. It's Hawaiian Santa Claus shirt. The brand is Max Boxer. It's not a high-end brand. It is vintage, from probably the 90s, maybe a little earlier, but I think these are from the 90s. But that's the logo, the tag. Not much to it, but the guy was super happy when he got this shirt. He really liked it and fit him, and he was happy and left me good feedback on it. Said excellent condition, whatever. Paid through $2.89 or $3.89 at the Goodwill for that one. $1.89 at the Goodwill for this sealed PlayStation game. You can see it was originally $20. I put it at $15. It went to Canada. They paid shipping and everything, so it is gone. SpongeBob. This wasn't one of the better SpongeBob games, but it was okay. I mean, $15, so not a huge profit, but profit nonetheless. One of my best sales for the month was this Excalibur Talking Bingo. I've sold several of these in the past. Every time I pick them up, I get giddy because I know it's good. This was probably the best condition of one I've had, at least box-wise. Even the game itself, you can see it's minty fresh. It had been used. The tokens had been opened. You can see I made sure to get that in the picture, but everything was there. I sold this for the full asking price of $125.95. So these little Excalibur handheld talking bingos. Radica makes a version too. It doesn't go as well. Just the unit alone, the blue unit here, can go for $50 to $60 by itself. Throw a box in with it, maybe about $60. Without the box, maybe $50. If you have everything else, I mean, you can make good money on these things. This one I paid $1.89 for at the Goodwill. I usually pick them up. The most I've ever paid for one is $2 at a yard sale, which was also, that one was brand new in box. I got about the same amount for it. The one prior to this one I sold was just the box and the game itself, and none of this stuff down here. And I got $65 for it. So I've sold 4 of these this year. They're sort of rare, but they're not so super rare that you won't find them. But you got to look because they're very small and they're passed over by most people because they just don't know. This is just a Sony Walkman S2 D-SJ301. Had the G-Shock protection or whatever. This one, the battery compartment was bad. It took me a while to clean it, but I did get it and I got it to work. You can see it wasn't perfect. The strap there, there's some writing on the tag, all that kind of stuff. But you can see that I got the battery compartment fairly clean. Sold for, I think I took a best offer of $20 plus shipping on this one. just to get it gone. Just some ink, $25. Sold it. I sold it twice. The first person backed out of the sale prior to me shipping, so that was good. Then I sold it again and got the full $24.99 for it. It was expired in May of 2015, but that doesn't matter because that's just the warranty. Generally, these work. I've never had a return on ink yet, so I paid 89 cents for this one at the Goodwill. And the CD player was 89 cents as well. These are, I cannot pronounce this 5-minute manometer, but it's just a blood pressure cuff by Welch Allyn. These are not generally available to the public. I think you have to be in the medical profession to be able to purchase one of these. The barcode on it was, I don't know if I got a picture of the barcode. It wasn't the type you can scan into like eBay or anything. I sold it for the full asking price of $35.95. It went to Puerto Rico, and hopefully it does some good down there because I know with all the hurricane and stuff, I'm sure that's why they needed it. I do have another one. This was an adult small. I believe this was the adult small. Yeah. I have a child version of this that I have to get listed. The child version goes for a little bit more, actually. It is listed on Amazon. No action over there, but they go for about almost $80 on Amazon. This one, for some reason, it would let me list the other one on Amazon, but not this one. So I listed this one on eBay and took $35. I'm probably going to pull the other one from Amazon. I just do merchant fulfilled. I don't have enough stuff to send in for FBA. So I'll probably just end up pulling it and putting it over on eBay and maybe asking $45 for it. And if it doesn't sell at that price, I'll discount it. This was one of my favorites. This is one of those cases where you put a video in your listing, and you can see down here that I did the video. I'm not going to play it for you, but this guy sang a song and his head moved back and forth. I got him at a thrift store for $2, and he sold pretty quick. I was hoping he wouldn't because I really liked him, but I sold him for $15. And the only reason I did that is because if you look right there, there's a big, it's only a couple years old, so it wasn't like some highly sought after collectible or anything. Some people were selling these in the $25 range, but it had a big $14.95 price tag on it. And I didn't want people to come back and say, hey, this thing is only $15 and you sold it to me for $25. So what I did, instead of selling it for $25, I did $14.95. The tag was $14.97. I added $10 shipping so that it's still coming out to the same price, but in a different way. I didn't do free shipping on that one. Here's the other transcriber. This was the correct picture. You can see it as a micro cassette. The other one should have had a picture of a regular size cassette. This one went for a little bit more, $70 shipped. No, $80 shipped. If you find these things in good condition and they work, you can make some really decent cash on them. It's people just take tapes and the foot pedal. Let me see if I can see. You can go backwards and forwards, and you can slow down and all sorts of. So you got speed control. You can play a regular tape in there, but it's not for that. It's for transcribing, and these vintage transcriber machines do really well. Okay, I took a $20 offer on these. They are new with tags. I don't usually sell Hollister, but they were new with tags, and the price tag said $49.50. So I priced them at $30. The guy bought them for $20. I sent them out, and they didn't fit him. So they're coming back, which is fine. And I paid return shipping on them, so I'm not going to make a lot of money when I relist them. But all I have to do to relist them is just, what I'll do is sell them for the $29.95 and take the best offer off. Or I'll do that with best offer and then add the shipping just to make up for the loss. But the guy was super nice about it, and he's like, hey, I'm sorry, I usually wear this size. And it's a hard to wear size. I mean, it's 31 by 32. It's not a common size. So I said, hey, no problem. Send him back. I'll take him back. And as soon as he sends them back, I'll relist him, refund him his money, and then I'll sell him again. PSP. I got this for $20 at the flea market. I got it home and it wouldn't turn on. It did not have the charger with it, so I was like, oh shit. So I went on eBay, bought the generic charger. You can see right there, it's a generic. It was the Darth Vader issue, so I know it was worth some money. I listed it high. It did have some issues, which I've disclosed in the listing. And it came with this Stuart Little game. It came with, what's the other game it came with here? I think Lego's Indiana Jones, which is a game I had for years. I do have another PSP around here somewhere. And it came with another game that I sold separately for $25. I'm not sure if it's in this update or if I've already sold it, but sold this one. I took a best offer of $69 plus shipping because I've already, I mean, I probably could have held out for a little bit more, but that's okay. I'm not going to be greedy. It was a good sale. Okay, so Dungeons and Dragons, anything Dungeons and Dragons does well. I took a best offer of $50 on this plus shipping, so $60 altogether. Just sent this out yesterday, I think. The box was a little bit worn, but all the interiors were, for the most part, unpunched. There were a couple that were punched out. I had to replace the dice, so I went to a local store that sells them. They're 25 cents a piece. So for an extra 50 cents, I got some dice. I paid $2.89 for this game at a Goodwill. And so anytime, you can see that a couple of these were punched out over here. But for the most part, it was unplayed and unused. So that was pretty good. Pretty good flip. Yak Tracks, I think they're called. These are the Winter Tracks version. They don't make this version anymore. They just go on the bottom of your shoes and you can walk in the winter with them, I guess. My wife bought a pair of these at the Goodwill. They were $1.89 a piece. And I saw them and I said, huh. So I went back the next day or a couple days later and I bought the other two pairs that they had. She kept one for herself. And then I took one of the other two and I've sold two of these. So I have no more. You can see quantity. I didn't put the other one in this update because I no use, but it fit size 6. Women's size 6 to men's size 12. So it's fit quite a bit of shoes. They stretch out. Just make it easier to walk. I almost kept a pair, but I wear size 13s. So I didn't know if it would fit. I didn't want to open it and ruin a sale. So sold this one yesterday, and I bought it yesterday. I paid 49 cents at the Goodwill for. She's only 10 inches tall, but it was one of the original early 90s Baby Bobs. And she was in fairly decent shape. She is going to New Zealand, believe it or not. So somebody from New Zealand wanted a Baby Bop, and they bought it. They paid $32 for a $15 item because of shipping to New Zealand. So it's on its way. Well, it's not on its way. It's actually sitting right next to me. I got to get it up to the post office. Mario Party for 64, just a 64 game. I got $31.95 out of it. It worked. It played. It was the label showed a lot of wear. So I didn't get as much as I could have out of it, but hey, somebody bought it. This is just a wooden, I called it a spirit carving or a wood spirit. It was signed by an artist named Dan Hill and dated 1996. I don't know if you can see that. November of 1996. I could not find any information on this particular artist, but it was signed and numbered. And somebody in California purchased this for the full asking price of $35.96 plus $6.50 shipping. Pretty sure I got this for, let's see, what did I pay for this? 89 cents or $1.89 at the Goodwill. So she was pretty ugly, but somebody loves her and she's got a new home. She didn't have any marks or scratches or anything like that. So she's in good shape. I didn't know what kind of wood it was, so I just didn't state that. I'm not good at identifying woods. I have no clue. Okay, next. Everybody knows about these. These took forever to sell. I think I sold them for the whole $26.99, but they took a long time. But somebody did finally buy them, so got them gone. Another board game. This is Gnomes of Zavendor. It's by Z-Man Games. A lot of Z-Man games are good. This one took, I would say, I think I got this way back when I started in February or March. And it took all the way until November to sell. I had it listed for a while, then I unlisted it, and then I listed it again. It was complete. We counted it. We bagged up everything individually, and haven't heard any feedback on it, so it must have been okay. Mario Party 3, same deal. I could have got more, but the label was roached. $31.95 for the 64. Tommy Hilfiger, just a Tommy Hilfiger pullover. It was the vintage. It was definitely vintage 90s, and it had the big spell out. I believe I got the full $64.95 for this one, and I sold it within like 2 days. Paid $3.89 at the Goodwill. Any long sleeves are generally $3.89. Polly Pocket. This one was a Treehouse. It was new, sealed from 1995. A lot of these are advertised as 1994, but when I looked at the copyright date, it was 1995. The box had some condition issues, as you can see. A lot of condition issues, but it was still sealed. This Polly Pocket stuff goes for really good money. It's really hard to see, but there was 2 little figurines right here in the back. They were still in there. My pictures weren't the greatest. It's hard to shoot through this plastic stuff. I got the full asking price of $59.96. It sold twice. The first person backed out because he didn't realize about all the damage on the box, but the second person bought it. I got this for 50 cents at a yard sale. So it's good flip. Donkey Kong 64, nothing special. This one did have a better label than the other games, but it doesn't go for as much. I said test it and works. I couldn't fully test it because I didn't have the expansion pack for the 64. I just had the regular jumper pack for it, so I couldn't test it fully, but I did plug it in. The splash screen came up saying that you need the expansion pack. I sent it out, and I haven't heard anything back, so I'm assuming it worked, so which is good. Here is the 64. I got $85 for this. It went to Canada. And I did throw a game in there. It got stopped. I sent this GSP, which I don't always do, but on heavier items I do. It got stopped at GSP, and I'm pretty sure it's because it had bomb in the title, because the game was Bomberman. I'm sure they opened it and inspected it, made sure there wasn't a bomb in there, and then sent it on to Canada, and it got delivered. I haven't heard anything, but I paid $50 for this. I got that Bomberman game with it. I got the 2 Mario Party games, and the Donkey Kong game came with it. Came with a controller and the power cord and all that. I had to put in a new AV because the one she had was a universal, and I wanted to have the original, which I happen to have a spare of. The problem was when I bought it, it didn't work. So I did make my money back on the games, but the console didn't work. So I just happened to have a spare 64 around. I took the guts out, put them in here. Thumbstick on the controller was really loose, so I took apart another controller and replaced the thumbstick, the joystick, and sold it for $85. So the other one cost me $20. So I have $70 into this. So I didn't make a lot on the console itself, but I did make it back on the games that I bought. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win big, and sometimes you don't. So, but haven't heard anything back from the buyer, so everything must have went okay. And hopefully GSP repackaged this the way they should have. Suburban Rap Queen. This is K-Flay, Christine Flattery. This is a self-produced album. This was before she became big, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, that's what this is, and it sold for $30 shipped. Vintage Lismore is the pattern style on this. It's just a shaver. Sold for the full asking price of $25, and I paid 89 cents at the Goodwill. Who knew? It's made by Waterford Crystal, and it's a discontinued item. They were very happy with it, too. Dame Edna. This is a signed CD by Dame Edna. You know who I mean. She just wrote Love Dame Edna on it. Buyer just left me feedback today, was very happy. Took a $30 offer on this one. Yeah, $30. I had no idea. This is a semi-automatic film loader for 120 and 620 reels. It's for film developing, I believe. I don't know. I got in a box lot of a bunch of stuff for $12. I've already made quite a bit of money off that, but this was one of the items that sold. I sold, if you look at my last update video, I think I had the lens, the vintage, the antique, actually, camera lens that sold for 25. This sold for 20. So I've already made my money back, double my money basically on that box. So not too bad. Consolidated Freight trucker cap. This is a corduroy. I should have dusted it off a little bit better, but it's sold for the full asking price of $20. And this one also sold for the full asking price of $20. Metabo Tools, vintage green snapback trucker hat made by London cap. And my best sale of the month so far is this beautiful Harley Davidson coat, sold for the full asking price of $170.10 plus $12 shipping. So I paid $20 for this at a yard sale earlier this year. It is a real Harley. It's a very heavy coat. It weighed 7 pounds to ship. People have asked me why I used the term shovelhead, because every other coat I looked up of this style had the term shovelhead in the title. So I figured that must be what it is. And this thing took, I bought it in probably April and it sold in November. So it took a very long time to sell. I had it originally listed for $199. I put it on a 10% off sale. I've put it on a 20% off sale. I had a $150 offer on it one time, and I countered with $180, and they never got back to me. And I probably should have took that a while ago, but I held out, and so it did eventually sell for $170. It cost me a little bit over $12 to ship. I think it cost me $18 to ship because it went, of course, to Colorado, which is quite a ways from Ohio, but that was fine. I've made quite a bit of money on this coat, hoping that it's to their satisfaction and there's no return on it. So, but that is all my sales for the week. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen, get back on here for you. I don't know if there I am. So that's it. Sales for the month of November up to the 21st. I'm sorry I haven't done a sales update video. I've just been busy. You can see I've sold a lot. The last 7 days I'm at almost $1,000. The last 2 days have been like dead. I've only sold like $30 worth. You can see I'm getting ready to photograph a CD back there and photograph that other Welch Allen. So, but anyway, sales have been a little dead the last 2 days, but it is Thanksgiving week, so I expect the slowdown. Hopefully after Friday, things start picking up, because you got your Black Friday sales this week. You got Thanksgiving this week, so a lot of that is going to slow down sales a little. Last week was phenomenal. The prior 2 weeks were horrible. So whatever, very slow sales. But like I said, about $1,000 in the last week or so. Not bad for me, which is super good. I wish I could make that every week. It wouldn't 100% pay my bills, but it would do really good to get there. So anyway, that's it for today. I'm going to stop this broadcast, and hopefully you guys have some good sales yourselves. And subscribe if you haven't, and like it or not. I don't care. Have a good day.